続きまして、基調講演といたしまして、一般財団法人建築環境省エネルギー機構理事長、村上。
Thank you very much, the President. We would like to invite Dr. Murakami, President of IBEC, Institute for Building Environment and Energy Conservation. He will be speaking on the promotion of SDGs for regional revitalization. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Murakami. Thank you for the introduction. I'd like to thank you very much for participating in this international forum. SDGs for regional revitalization. I'd like to introduce the activities of the Cabinet Office first of all. The Cabinet Office organizes international forum at this time of the year. This is the 13th, and those in blue is for environmental future city, and pink for SDGs for regional revitalization. As we continue activities, we gain strength, and we have been gaining international recognition. We have 4 points. First, overview of the SDGs for regional revitalization. Second, promotion and deepening of SDGs introduction. Number 3, SDGs future city. And 4, revitalization of local economies through public-private partnership. I'd like to take up the first topic regarding SDGs for regional revitalizations. There are government's major policies, and I selected the 2. On the left-hand side, there are titles in pink. Set of policies at the SDGs promotion headquarters, SDGs implementation guidelines and action plans. And on the right-hand side, we have the local government activities, comprehensive strategy for revitalization of cities, people, and jobs. And there are overlapping areas. SDGs for regional revitalizations, SDGs future cities, and SDGs finance. And I'd like to take up each one of them. First, the headquarters for SDGs headquarters, promotion headquarters. This is the top organizations in the governments for the promotion of SDGs. There are 4 keywords: COVID-19 countermeasures, growth strategies through business and innovation. Number 3, regional revitalization. And number 4, demonstration of each person's potential and strengthening of ties. And this is quite relevant for today's topic: regional revitalization driven by SDGs and creating virtuous cycle of economy and the environment. So SDGs future cities, public-private partnership platform, and promotion of SDG finance. And there are 2 keywords: green industry and DX. And in session 1, green industry is taken up, and in the afternoon session, session 2, DX will be the topic. And comprehensive strategy for revitalization of cities, people, and jobs. As basic goals, there are 4 in blue. So the employment and flow of people, correcting the over-concentration in Tokyo, and living with a sense of security. And there are cross-sectoral goals: promotion of society 5.4, realization of SDGs and sustainable urban development, promotion of regional revitalizations, and community in which everyone can play in active role. And number 2, realization of the SDG for regional revitalization and sustainable community building. What is relevant for us? And I would like to take up the strategy. So promotion dissemination activities of SDGs for regional development. And number 2, formulating model cases for achieving SDGs through municipal government. And SDGs future cities will be introduced later. Promotion of PPP through the private sector participation through PPP. And number 4, development of SDG finance. And there are self-sectoral goals. And what is important in the immediate future is to raise awareness and dissemination, then deepening of initiatives, followed by realization of effective initiatives. SDGs revitalization has been producing outcome and results, and that will be made clear in the later part of the presentations. And at the Cabinet Office, what we are doing to promote and disseminate the SDGs activities. First, promotion and dissemination. And we have regular observation of the status of SDG efforts by municipalities nationwide. In October every year, using the Cabinet Office hotline, we have regular observation in the last 5 years and development of local indicators. And in order to prepare KPIs, this is a very important indicators. Number 2, Model Cities Project, SDGs Future City. And from this year, we have SDGs Model Project for Broad Regional Cooperation. And number 3, efforts to revitalize local economy. So the formation, the PPP platform, and SDG finance, formation of self-sustaining virtuous cycle, registration certification system for local companies, and award system for financial institutions and municipalities. They have been put in place. And to give you results, a significant increase of SDG awareness. And as a result of the regular observations, when it started in 2017, awareness was only 16%, so it was little known. But this year, 99% is the results. The awareness has been increased to a great extent. So from the period of raising awareness to the period of deepening initiative. So we are shifting gears. And so that was the overview. So I'd like to take up the topic of promotion and deepening of SDGs introduction and adoption. So what are the barriers of SDG adoption and how to overcome them? And for many municipalities, particularly the small municipalities, the barriers for implementing SDGs are very high. There are 17 list of goals. It is only a list, and there is no scenario presented for municipalities. And also, concepts of SDGs are quite difficult to understand. They're difficult to spread to lay persons. So these are the barriers. In order to overcome these barriers, for one, present excellent models and learn from good models is important. SDGs Future Cities and SDG Models Project for broader regional cooperation efforts towards such goal. And presentation materials to deepen understanding of SDGs and concrete methods for scenario creation is important. And there are tools to develop scenarios. First, to sort out problems, materiality and mapping, and to create scenarios, backcasting outside in, and integration of economic, social, and environmental initiatives. And for achievement goals, KPIs, 3-tier structure, local indicators, and for follow-up, impact evaluations are important. So these are the tools, and to present the flow of how it can be done. In introducing SDGs in the municipalities, there are groups of issues and materiality, and what is important is ranked in terms of materiality. And there are 70 goals. Try to link them to the goals of mapping and selection. 169 targets, selection of goals and targets to be achieved. That has to be cascaded down to the policies. And on the left-hand side, we have a triangle, 3-tier structure, goals, targets, and indicators based upon local indicators. KPIs need to be set. I would like to introduce local indicators. And the right-hand side, the overall optimization, integrating economy, society, and environment. This is so important. Backcasting and outside in. Such approaches are important. And at the end of one plan, action plans are formulated and impact evaluation is performed. So I'd like to go through this quickly. Materiality, that means priority issues on the horizontal axis, we have degree of importance to oneself, and on the vertical axis, degree of importance to society. And quadrant 1, this is the most important issues. Materiality is very high. And the value and the insight and views of municipalities and companies are expressed in selection for materiality. And what about Japan? And government of Japan put priorities to 8 issues. Then these are materials for Japan. So dynamic mix of people, health, innovation, resilience, energy. Goals and target. Make selection for materialities for Japan, and they are reorganized. And implementation guidelines developed based upon the materialities. So this is Japan as a whole. But for comprehensive strategy for cities, people, and jobs, there are 4 items: employment, correcting over concentration, raising the birth rate, and daily life and community, and realization of highly productive and vibrant regional economies, strengthen tourism, and turning the agriculture, forestry, fishing industries to growth industries. These are quite informative to the local governments. Materiality with the required originality is important. So materiality should be selected, which is best suited for each municipalities. And mapping of goals and goal-setting action plans. And in the blue, this is backward mapping. And in pink, we have forward mapping. Many municipalities and companies, we are doing number 3, health, we are doing energy. And they are trying to link them to the goals. But and this is quite important, but they have their own plan. And they have their plan. Afterwards, they link to the SDG goals. But in the pink areas, before making a plan, materiality is selected, and using outside in. After thoroughly studied SDGs before making future plans, SDGs are studied and vision created. So from the current situation to SDG, that's backward mapping. And forward mapping is to look at the situation from SDGs to future plans. That is important. And backcasting, many of you know this already, is setting goals by working backwards from the ideal future. So this is goal-based governance and managing the progress of initiatives from a long-term perspective. So this state are consistent. And outside-in approach to goal setting. So inside-out approach is to start from the situation now and gap with global trends of our concerns. So from the very start, look at the global situation outside. And what is outside? That is SDGs. So use the outside-in structure through the adoption of SDGs. So from backward mapping to forward mapping. And this is inside out on the left-hand side, on the right, outside-in approach. And setting KPIs and local indicators. So this is a 3-tier approach. And 3-tier structures, and there is a dotted line, and above is the setting visions and goals, and below progress management KPIs to measure the progress. So KPIs are specifically set, and for local municipalities, local indicators and KPIs are extremely important. And United Nations have presented 230 indicators. But these are nation-level indicators, and they are difficult to use for local municipalities. So the Cabinet Office developed Japan-specific local indicators. That is commendable, and there is no such examples in other parts of the world.
続きてですね、SDGs の能力をもっと進化してですね、実際にですね、成果が上がり。
The specific goals need to be set. So let me next talk about the SDGs future cities. Now, the Model Cities project by the Cabinet Office has a long history, shifting from Future City to SDGs Future City. In 2008, the Future City concept and then the Eco Model City in 2008, and then Future City in 2011. Different colors. we find that there are many proactive initiatives, for example, integrated environmental, social, and economic initiatives, as well as creation of environmental, social, and economic value, which are very close to SDGs. So blue and green represent the really forward-looking initiatives related to SDGs. And there's a good affinity between SDGs and this existing Future City initiative. And then this pink portion to evolve this further to address SDGs, which is currently underway. Partnership, low carbon, and then aging population, and 17 goals in that order. So, what are the aims of the SDGs Future City Initiative? It's twofold. One is to raise the peak. The government would be recognizing the best practices and then visualize them so as to share the best practices, which would raise the base, the foundation. What's important is to revitalize municipalities nationwide by raising the base, the foundation. And what is the current status? 52% of the municipalities in Japan are already addressing SDGs, which is a very high level by international standards, unparalleled elsewhere. But the issue is that there is a need to support smaller municipalities. And 60% is the goal set by the government. So how are they selected? It's a two-stage selection process. Selection 1, 30 cities, and then select 10 top cities. Selection 1 is to look at the overall assessment of the adoption and promotion of SDGs. And then in Selection 2, evaluate the model initiatives for sustainable development and then share them for the promotion of SDGs in all municipalities. These are the criteria: 80 points for Selection 1, 80 points for Selection 2, total of 160 points. I'm not going to go into the details, but there is a weighting on this scoring system. For example, carbon neutral, shown in pink, more scores are assigned so as to ensure the visualization of priority items, so as to lead the regional revitalization. 142 cities in 124 cities in 4 years. Blue, the SDGs, future cities, and green, the 10 cities with model projects. And then we looked at the KPIs for each goal of SDGs. We find that since they represent the overall direction of the policies taken by the municipalities, we can see where the priorities are. We find that number 8, work and growth, has the largest number, followed by city development. And then 9, innovation, 12, consumption and production, which indicates that active efforts are being made to revitalize the local economy. This is just one example of various analyses. The fourth point, the revitalization of local economies through public-private partnership. And there is the basic goals for the second comprehensive strategy: create a community where people can earn money and work with peace of mind, as well as fulfill hopes for marriage, childbirth, and childbearing. Once every 5 years, this is revisited. One change that has been made over the years is to earn money, capability to earn money. So how do you promote the earning region? For that, public-private partnership platforms are being promoted for SDG financing. So let's look at the collaboration between municipalities, local governments, and corporations for regional revitalization. Y-axis, the revenue aspect; the x-axis, contribution to society. Municipality, I believe, is located in the 4th quadrant. In other words, contribution to society is positive, but revenue is negative, which makes sense because they are not a profit-making organizations. But the community itself wants to be making profit, revenue. So we want revitalization of rural economies through public-private partnerships. And so this platform is working on this. The self-sustaining virtuous cycle is what we are really advocating. The local companies and financial institutions cooperating to run the self-sustaining virtuous cycle where the profit could be reinvested. So new cash flow could be created through the business activities, and the profit could be reinvested for the self-sustaining virtuous cycle. And there are various examples of these taking place. And in terms of financial framework, the local companies and local financial institutions that are doing a great job need to be highlighted and showcased. And recognition and award system has been promoted since last year. And this is the recognition and awards program by the government, so it makes a lot of sense, and it is very important. And public-private partnership platform framework, one is to identify and clarify the policy issues and needs. And the other aspect is to identify what the C's of the business are. The field or the forum needs to be provided, and the needs need to be presented through the public-private partnership platform. So this is the platform for matching, which will lead to a specific implementation of projects. And this should lead to revitalizing the rural economies. As was explained earlier, we have over 6,000 members, green or deep-private companies, over 5,000, blue. The municipalities, over 1,000, which is large because there are only 1,700 municipalities nationwide, and over 1,000 of them are participating. This is a specific case of PPP. This is Nishi Awakura Village, a very small community in Okayama Prefecture. This is a project of Forest Trust. Many people are having difficulty in maintaining the forest that they owned. So the Sumitomo Mitsui Trust Bank has been entrusted to take care of that. And the Hyakumori company is actually managing, and the profit is returned to the trustee, then to the forest owners, which is a really good circulation. Another example, in Osaki-cho in Kagoshima Prefecture, the recycling center of disposable diapers has been established, and Unicharm company, which is the disposable diaper manufacturer, is forming a partnership with that. So it's not just about recycling, but it is an attempt to make profit out of this. This is still work in progress, but many advances have been made. Carbon neutrality and municipal SDGs, which is a big issue today. The Cabinet Office has a long history in addressing carbon neutrality. 2008, Eco-Model City, and Toyako summit meeting was held in Japan during that year, and Kyoto Protocol was addressed extensively, and low carbon economy was much talked about. So here in Japan, we do have a long history of low carbon initiatives implemented by many municipalities, but this is easier said than done. We need a paradigm shift in economic, social, and environmental systems, and we believe that public-private partnership can work as a framework for this. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Mr. Murakami, for excellent keynote speech.